Kindness is one of the most admirable human traits, a virtue that holds the power to heal, connect, and inspire. However, kindness without boundaries can quickly become a liability, a double-edged sword that leads to exploitation and loneliness. It's a harsh truth, but one that must be faced head-on if we are to navigate life effectively. When you're overly kind, always prioritizing others above yourself, you unintentionally teach people how to treat you. By constantly saying yes, by always making yourself available, you send the message that your time, energy, and emotions are less valuable. It's not that people are inherently malicious or ungrateful. Rather, human nature tends to gravitate toward what's convenient. If you consistently put others first, then we start to expect it, not out of malice, but because you've shown them that's how you operate. Being kind without setting boundaries can also lead to burnout. Kindness should come from a place of abundance, not depletion. When you give and give without replenishing yourself, you end up feeling drained, resentful, and ultimately isolated. The irony here is that the very quality meant to connect you with others, your kindness, becomes for your loneliness. It creates an imbalance in relationships where you're always the giver and rarely the receiver. This doesn't mean you should stop being kind, far from it. What it means is that your kindness needs to have limits, boundaries that protect your well-being while maintaining your generosity. Setting boundaries doesn't make you less kind, it makes your kindness sustainable. It allows you to give without sacrificing your own needs and priorities. Think about the dynamics of a healthy relationship, whether it's with a friend, partner, or a colleague. A healthy relationship is reciprocal. It's a dance of giving and receiving where both parties feel valued and respected. But when one person is always giving and the other is always taking, the relationship becomes unbalanced. Over time, this imbalance can erode the connection, leaving the giver feeling unappreciated and the taker oblivious to the damage being done. Learning to say no is an act of kindness to yourself. It's a declaration that your needs matter too, that your time and energy are not infinite resources to be spent at the whim of others. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you self-aware. It allows you to preserve your energy for the people and pursuits that truly matter. The world needs kind people, people who care, who give, who make life better for those around them. But kindness should never come at the expense of your dignity, your well-being, or your sense of self. True kindness is balanced, thoughtful, and rooted in self-respect. It's the kind of kindness that not only enriches the lives of others, but also nourishes your own. Kindness is powerful, but only when it's paired with boundaries. By valuing yourself as much as you value others, you'll not only protect your well-being, but also foster deeper, more meaningful connections. And in doing so, you'll find that kindness, when practiced wisely, is never a pathway to loneliness, but a bridge to authentic relationships. Nice people often struggle to find balance in their relationships. And this imbalance stems from an innate desire to avoid conflict at all costs. While this intention is noble, the reality is that conflict is not inherently bad. In fact, it is often a necessary component of growth and understanding in any meaningful relationship. By avoiding conflict, nice people may inadvertently create a dynamic where their own needs and feelings are consistently overlooked. When you avoid conflict, you silence your voice. This silence can be misinterpreted as agreement or indifference by those around you, causing others to push boundaries without realizing they are doing so. Over time, this erodes the respect and equality in the relationship. People start assuming you will always concede, always adapt, and always put their needs before your own. While you might think you're maintaining harmony, you're actually creating a situation where your presence and preferences are undervalued. Avoiding conflict also leads to an accumulation of unresolved emotions. Each time you suppress your feelings or refrain from addressing an issue, those emotions don't disappear. They build up, often manifesting as resentment, frustration, or even sadness. This emotional buildup can eventually drive a wedge between you and those you care about, making you feel isolated and misunderstood. The very conflict you tried to avoid has, in essence, transformed into internal turmoil. True harmony in relationships comes not from the absence of conflict, but from how conflict is handled. Addressing disagreements openly and respectfully can strengthen relationships by fostering understanding and mutual respect. It allows both parties to express their perspectives, needs, and boundaries, creating a foundation of trust and equality. For nice people, learning to navigate conflict can be an empowering experience, transforming the fear of confrontation into an opportunity for connection and growth. To break the cycle of conflict avoidance, you must first recognize that your feelings and needs are just as important as anyone else's. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. By acknowledging and valuing your emotions, you give yourself permission to express them. Practice assertive communication, not aggressive or passive, but assertive. This means expressing your thoughts clearly and confidently while respecting the other person's perspective. You might feel a deep discomfort the first time you voice your concerns or disagree openly. That's normal. Growth is uncomfortable. But remember, discomfort is temporary. The benefits of healthier relationships are long-lasting. The people who truly care about you will appreciate your honesty and adapt to the new dynamic. Those who don't may drift away, but that's not necessarily a loss. It's a natural alignment, ensuring that the people in your life value and respect you for who you truly are. In the end, avoiding conflict does not preserve relationships, it weakens them. Facing conflict, on the other hand, can strengthen bonds, foster mutual respect, and help you build deeper, more authentic connections. It's a step toward ensuring that your kindness doesn't make you invisible, but instead makes you a valued and respected presence in the lives of others. Nice people often face the dilemma of overextending themselves, driven by an intense desire to please others. While generosity and a willingness to help are admirable traits, they can become counterproductive when taken to extremes. The act of constantly prioritizing others above oneself may seem like the path to fostering connections, but it often leads to burnout, resentment, and an unbalanced dynamic in relationships. When you continuously put others first, you send a subconscious signal that your needs, time, and energy are less valuable. This unintentional message can create a cycle where people come to expect your constant availability and support without reciprocating. Over time, this dynamic can lead to feelings of being taken for granted as others grow accustomed to your sacrifices while offering little in return. The relationships become one-sided, where you give endlessly but receive little acknowledgement or appreciation. Additionally, overextending yourself often means neglecting your own well-being. You might find nice people often struggle with setting boundaries because they fear disappointing others or coming across as selfish. While this inclination to accommodate is rooted in good intentions, it can result in a profound imbalance in relationships and personal well-being. Learning to set boundaries isn't about being unkind or rigid. It's about protecting your energy, time, and emotional health to foster genuine and reciprocal connections. When you lack boundaries, you may find yourself constantly saying yes to requests, even when it's inconvenient, overwhelming, or detrimental to your own needs. Over time, this creates a dynamic where others may unintentionally or intentionally exploit your willingness to accommodate. It's not always malicious. People often push as far as they're allowed to go. Without boundaries, you risk becoming a convenient option rather than a respected individual in relationships. Establishing boundaries requires understanding your limits and having the courage to communicate them clearly. It involves saying no when something doesn't align with your priorities or values, even if it feels uncomfortable in the moment. Initially, some people might react negatively to your newfound assertiveness, especially if they're used to you always complying. However, those who genuinely respect you will adapt and appreciate your honesty. Boundaries also create space for self-care and personal growth. By protecting your time and energy, you allow yourself to focus on the things that matter most to you. This can include pursuing your goals, cultivating your passions, or simply taking the time to recharge. When you prioritize yourself, you show others that your needs and well-being are important, setting a powerful example of self-respect. Moreover, boundaries are essential for fostering healthy relationships. They define what's acceptable and what's not, ensuring that interactions are based on mutual respect and understanding. When you set boundaries, you create a framework for more authentic connections, where both parties feel valued and heard. You move away from the exhausting dynamic of people-pleasing and toward relationships that are balanced and fulfilling. One of the most profound realizations about boundaries is that they don't push people away. They help you identify who truly belongs in your life. The individuals who respect your boundaries are the ones who value you as a person, not just for what you can do for them. In contrast, those who resist or criticize your boundaries often reveal their unwillingness to invest in a healthy and reciprocal relationship. Ultimately, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and empowerment. It allows you to take control of your life, ensuring that your kindness is not taken for granted. By establishing clear limits, you create an environment where you can thrive emotionally, mentally, physically. And as you grow stronger in your sense of self-worth, you'll attract relationships that are built on mutual care, respect, and genuine connection. Being nice often stems from a desire to make others happy, to be liked, or to maintain peace in relationships. While these qualities are admirable, they can inadvertently lead to neglecting your own needs and desires. When you prioritize others to the detriment of yourself, you may find that loneliness creeps in, not because you're unkind or unworthy, but because you've forgotten to place yourself at the center of your own life. The first step in breaking the cycle of loneliness is recognizing that self-prioritization is not selfish, it's essential. Nice people often feel guilty when they put their needs first, as if doing so diminishes their kindness. In reality, taking care of yourself enables you to show up as the best version of yourself in all aspects of life. When you're drained, unfulfilled, or neglected, You can't effectively nurture relationships or pursue your goals. Prioritizing yourself involves introspection and honesty. Ask yourself, what do I want? What do I need to feel fulfilled? These questions can feel foreign to someone accustomed to focusing on others, but they're vital for understanding what will make you genuinely happy. It's about reconnecting with your passions, dreams, and values, those elements of life that light you up and give you purpose. Once you've identified your priorities, take actionable steps to honor them. This might mean carving out time for self-care, pursuing a hobby you've always loved, or setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. It's about creating a life that reflects your aspirations, not just accommodating the expectations of others. When you start to prioritize yourself, you'll notice a shift in how you experience the world. You'll feel more in control, more empowered, and more connected to your own sense of worth. Another crucial aspect of self-prioritization is learning to let go of relationships that don't serve you. Nice people often hold on to toxic or one-sided relationships because they feel obligated to stay. However, clinging to connections that leave you feeling unseen or unappreciated only reinforces loneliness. Instead, surround yourself with individuals who uplift you, respect your boundaries, and share your values. It's not about having a large circle, it's about having a meaningful one. Additionally, prioritizing yourself doesn't mean isolating yourself from others. In fact, it enhances your ability to build healthy, reciprocal relationships. When you know what you need and aren't afraid to advocate for it, you invite people into your life who align with your values and respect your boundaries. You're no longer settling for superficial connections, you're cultivating genuine ones. Ultimately, prioritizing yourself is a lifelong practice. It requires constant reflection and adjustment as your needs and goals evolve. But as you make yourself a priority, you'll find that loneliness diminishes. You'll be living a life that feels authentic and fulfilling, attracting people and opportunities that align with who you truly are. Being nice doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It means valuing yourself enough to live with intention, balance, and joy.